good evening, everybody. We are broadcasting from Fat Joe's in downtown Fond du Lac tonight for the Marian University Coaches Show on the Marian Sports Network. I am Wade Bates, and for the next hour or so, we're going to go inside Marian University Athletics to find out what's going on with the various programs across the campus, and also some things going on off the campus as well with Marian University student athletes. We're going to talk men's golf and ACHA men's hockey with head coach Brett Denap. Also, the Marian women's basketball team opening up conference play this weekend. We'll talk with first-year head coach Lyndsey Seewald. We'll also visit with Marian senior women's basketball player Nicole Paulus. And we're going to go off campus, as I mentioned. Angelos is going to join us talking about some great events going on with Marian student athletes helping out across the area. This is the Marian University Coaches Show on the Marian Sports Network.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
Welcome back to Fat Joe's in downtown Fond du Lac as we broadcast the Marian University Coaches Show on the Marian Sports Network. I am Wade Bates, and right now we're going to bring in a guy who wears a couple of hats at Marian University, head coach Brett Denap. He wears the men's golf coach hat and also the first-year head coach of the ACHA men's hockey program at Marian University. Coach, thanks for joining us here tonight.
Yep, thank you.
Let's talk about golf first. You're kind of in between seasons for golf, but your fall season for golf at Marian, a pretty good year for the Sabres.
Yeah. So far this year, we've had 6 events, and we find ourselves sitting in first in the conference going into the spring. So definitely excited about that. Explain
how the golf season works when it comes to the NAC and the NCAA Division III, because you had a fall season. You mentioned you're in the middle of golf, and now all of a sudden we take some time off, and you get back at it in the spring.
Yep. So we play about 6 exhibition events, and then we play, in addition to that, the first 2 rounds of our conference championship. It's a 4-round event, and the second 2 rounds are played in the spring. Why they do that, no one's exactly sure that's playing it right now. I've talked to some of my guys. We don't know exactly why they do that. But so 2 days are in the fall, and then the other 2 are in the spring.
And you mentioned your first part of your season is pretty good, and you played the first 2 rounds of the NAC championship over at Whistling Straits in Kohler.
Right.
The PGA championship was just here a couple of months ago, and you guys have a 1-shot lead.
Yep. So 1-shot lead going into the second half there in our conference. The guys all played really well. It was nice. One of our freshmen actually recorded the lowest round for our team in the second day and sort of kept us in there when some of our veteran players struggled. So really good to see some young guys playing good at such a difficult course.
Talk about your roster and where you pull kids from and student athletes from across the nation.
Yep. So right now we have 8 players on our team. We've got guys from California, guys from Michigan. We have a player from Alaska. And then we have some local players from Wisconsin as well. So just casting a wide net and looking in every place that we can for guys.
Now, we'll talk a little bit about your background, but you've been around to a few places at Division III. Do a lot of Division III rosters, when it comes to sports in general, have people and student athletes from all over the country?
In my experience, yeah. So far, it seems like it's pretty diverse rosters, and players come from all over to compete at the NCAA level.
And when it comes to Marian University, what do you think sets Marian University apart that you can pull somebody in from Alaska to come to our university to compete in golf?
Yeah, we have what's great is Whispering Springs, our home course, is a very, very nice venue. It's nicer than most courses in the United States, in my opinion. Very, very nice. And then what we offer for the winter months in terms of an indoor simulator and having Lynn's Fieldhouse and a few other indoor opportunities for players to not only stay sharp but improve their games.
Talk about the indoor simulator and what that means to your program.
Yeah, it's huge for us. So during the winter months when there's snow on the ground or the weather's too bad to get out, it gives us the ability to practice every single shot there is in golf and get good reads on our club head speed, ball speed, spin rates, and all the minor details, the little details that golfers care about when they're practicing.
Does the simulator have like Pebble Beach on it? Can you
Yeah,
play St. Andrews, or you're playing the Muni that's down, somewhere else?
Yeah, absolutely. Most of the time when we're in there practicing, we're on the driving range. We don't do too much on the course, but if we want to lighten it up and play a little game, we can go play, St. Andrews, Pebble Beach, all those sorts of places.
Now, before we talk about hockey, your background, you have a little golf background. Obviously, you have some hockey background because you're the ACHA men's hockey coach. Tell us how you ended up at Marian University.
Yep. So we'll go back a couple years. In high school, I was a dual sport guy. I played hockey and golf pretty competitively in both and couldn't pick one over the other. Was fortunate to get a golf scholarship out of high school and chose to do that instead of the junior hockey route. Had some success at a school called Lindenwood University, Belleville in Southern Illinois for golf. Transferred from there to McKendree University, where I played NCAA golf and ACHA hockey for one semester, and then transferred to SIUE, where I played just ice hockey, and then coached at Lindenwood Belleville. So a bit of a suitcase, been around the league, been to multiple different schools, and then, was fortunate just to come across a job posting for the job up here at Marian. Applied for it, knew it was something I wanted to do for a long time, and fortunately I got that.
So would you think like 5-6 years ago that you'd be a head hockey coach / head golf coach at a university, though?
5 or 6 years ago, that was the plan and the goal, but it wasn't the plan for it in 5 or 6 years. I thought it would take me a lot longer than it has, so it's been a blessing. And
we also mentioned it's the first year for the ACHA men's hockey program at Marian University. Explain what that means and what that's all about.
Okay, so previously we were a JV team for the varsity, and we didn't compete within the ACHA. There was no conference to belong to, no regionals, no nationals, anything like that. Now we're in the ACHA, which is a league that has the ACHA Division I, Division II, and Division III, totaling over 400 teams between the three divisions. We compete within a conference and a region, have a chance to play at a national championship and play schools such as University of Illinois, Michigan State, University of Wisconsin, Madison, and some schools that are very popular within other collegiate sports that also have club hockey teams or ACHA hockey teams as well.
Sure, you mentioned Fond du Lac here at Marian University. We have the NCAA hockey team, and then you have. What's the difference? What's the difference in the athlete? What's the difference between the two programs?
Yeah, so the difference, in my opinion, is just the roster from start to finish, from your top guy to your bottom guy, and the depth that they can offer at the NCAA level compared to the ACHA level. Your bottom players are usually more solid than you're going to find at the club level. And that's just from where they played previously. They played in Tier 2 junior hockey, sometimes Tier 1 junior hockey, and a majority of my players come from Tier 3. A few played Tier 2 here and there, but just sort of the history and where they played from. And that's where I've been so fortunate to get such a solid roster in our first year coming in as a new coach. And a lot of that is a shout-out to head coach Lincoln Wynn of the NCAA team, sort of the GM of the year for the club guys, because he brought in a lot of really solid players for us.
Is that a very cohesive relationship? You kind of work together even though you're playing in different leagues, the NCAA hockey team and the ACHA hockey team?
Yes, very, very much so. So I work with Lincoln and the head coaches with the NCAA team every single day. We're a seamless two teams and under one organization there. So
can you explain how the junior hockey system works and how kids end up in NCAA programs in general, whether it be the ACHA or the NCAA hockey at any level? How does the junior hockey program work? Because maybe people aren't familiar with that if they're not really, huge hockey fans.
Right. So there's three different tiers, as they call it in junior hockey. There's Tier 3, Tier 2, and Tier 1. Tier 1 is the highest. And from there, as coaches, we go and recruit in those leagues. We know where the better players will be at, or we think we know anyways. And we go take a look. And we also gauge where those players generally go. So we know Tier 3, a lot of those players will end up in the ACHA, but the top players from Tier 3 will go NCAA Division 3. From there, you go up to Tier 2, and a majority of those players end up in NCAA Division 3. And so just the different tiers send guys to different universities on a more consistent basis. And so we look at that, and we know sort of where to go look, and we hope to get players from that.
And your squad this season, Coach, you've been off to a pretty good start. Did you expect to have a fast start like you've had this year?
Yeah, so when I first got the position, I didn't know what sort of team we were going to have, but I was fortunate when I saw him skate right away. I knew we had what it was going to take to have a very solid team because I've had experience previously in the ACHA. So I expected us to do what we're doing now, and pretty much right on pace with what I expected. I think we can go the rest of the year on a similar pace, and So yeah, definitely what we expected.
You got a top 10 ranking here. You had Waldorf in, who also was a top 10 team, and
Yep.
you did pretty well against them this past weekend.
Yep, so they were ranked number 5, we were ranked number 6, and we've been dancing between 4, 5, and 6, us and another university in the ranking. So they were 5, we were 6, and we beat them 5-0 on Saturday night and 5-3 on Sunday. So we'll probably jump up to a 5 or 4 spot there, is my expectation.
Are you guys playing in kind of a mix between Rink A and Rink B over at the Blue Line Family Ice Center?
Most of the time we stick to Rink B. We have played one game in Rink A, but we stick to Rink B with the different sizes and sheets. Our practices are all mostly in Rink B. So just sticking with that consistency, our locker rooms over in Rink B, and just sort of making that home for us.
Do you feel like this is a squad that has a chance to put together, make a run into the postseason, and who knows what's going to happen from there?
Yeah, absolutely. We try not to get too far ahead of ourselves and keep ourselves focused on today and focused on tomorrow and getting better each day. But we definitely, with the hot start that we've had and playing some of the teams we've had, we definitely realize we have an opportunity to make a run into the postseason. Hopefully, be a national championship contender.
You mentioned you got hired this year. Lincoln Wynn, you said, was the GM of the year so far for
GM
the
of the year
ACHA
for us,
hockey.
yeah.
But when you're out there talking to kids in junior hockey about coming to Marian University for the ACHA men's squad, what do you pitch them about the university and the program?
Yep. So because I've been fortunate to be around the league a little bit, be at a few different programs, I know what they're offering and I know what we offer. And fortunately, we have one of the best programs there is out there in terms of what we offer the players. We give them gloves, sticks, helmets, pants, getting to skate 4 times a week at a rink less than 5 minutes from campus, plus 25 to 30 game schedule with hotels and meals and all your travel paid for. They get treated just like an NCAA athlete would, and that's what's been great is in the recruitment process we can tell them about it, and the school supports us so well that we're able to offer one of the best programs out there.
And maybe that's not the case in other ACHA programs across the country?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. There's few and far between that are fully funded like we are, and most of the time, because they would consider it a club hockey, it's student-ran, student-funded. So some organizations find themselves with a player on the team being the president, having to collect money from the other guys on the team. And to those teams' credit, they're usually the hardest working teams because those guys are paying to play and they love hockey so much they're going to do whatever it takes to still play. And so it's definitely a rarity to have a university that supports the team so well. But to the credit of those other teams, they always come out hard and come to work.
So congratulations on the hockey season, the great start
Thank
there.
you.
And again, men's golf coach as well. You kind of are off until when? And when does the NAC tournament and everything get going again for round 2?
Yep.
Rounds 3 and 4, I guess it would be round 2 of the year.
Yeah, so in March we'll play our first spring trip. We'll go to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina to play a small
It's
event
not bad.
there. Yeah, it'll be a nice trip in March there. And then April is when it'll really pick up, and that's when we'll see the second round of the NAC, the final 2 rounds of the NAC tournament. And so yeah, getting prepared for April. It's a couple months away, but definitely not losing focus.
Being that it's your first year in the program, was that Myrtle Beach set up before you took the job, or is that something
No,
that you have to kind of look for places to play?
We talked about a spring trip and talked about trying to get something set up as I started working here, and then fortunately for myself and the players, it just happened to be at a beautiful place like Myrtle Beach, and the women's team will also be playing there that weekend. And to their credit, they found that event and they started getting the wheels in motion for us, and couldn't say no to it. So
and that's one of the premier golf spots in the country, isn't it?
Yep, absolutely, absolutely.
Well, congratulations again on the great start for the men's hockey for ACHA this year, and then the golf team, sitting in first place halfway through the NAC championship. Couldn't ask for a better start to your coaching career, Marian, could you?
Very much, yeah, you're exactly right. So just count the blessings and keep working hard to keep those streaks going.
Thank you so much. That's Marian head men's golf coach Brett Denap, and also the men's, ACHA hockey coach Brett Denap here as the Marian University Coaches Show continues on the Marian Sports Network.
What if a disaster strikes without warning? What if life as you know it has completely turned on its head? What if everything familiar becomes anything but? Before a disaster turns your family's world upside down, it's up to you to be ready. Get a kit. Make a plan. Be informed today. Learn how at ready.gov.
And welcome back to Fat Joe's in downtown Fond du Lac as we continue with the Marian University Coaches Show on the Marian Sports Network. And we're going to talk some Marian women's basketball as you bring in first-year head coach Lyndsey Seewald. Coach, thanks for joining us here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Hey, Marian, you're off to an 0-2 start this season, but I've been in the gym a lot of times so far. It looks like the women are working really hard as you kind of try to implement your fingerprint on the program.
Yeah, they're working really hard. I mean, we're throwing a lot of new stuff at them, new staff, new culture, new, and they've just kind of been taking it and absorbing it and going with it, so it's cool.
How much of what they're doing now is different from what they were doing last year?
Everything.
Okay.
I would say almost everything. I mean, from our defensive mentality to what we're trying to do on offense, I think it's a completely different ball game for them, black and white. So I would say everything is pretty much different, yeah.
What intrigued you about the Marian University program? What made you want to come here and get this program going?
The challenge of it. I think, they were falling apart a little bit, right? They lost some things, and I think they needed someone to come in here and to really culture build and change the program to do a 180. And that's kind of where I'm at in my career is, personally, I want to build a culture somewhere. I want to start somewhere from the ground up and make it my own, so it was perfect.
Now, you have Wisconsin roots, so it's like you grew up in the state of Wisconsin, north. You kind of talk about your background?
Sure, yeah. So I come from Little Coleman, Wisconsin, north of Green Bay, and played basketball there, and that's where I started the love of the game, and then I went to Waukesha, Wisconsin, to Carroll University, and played there for 4 years, and I guess the rest is history at that point. So. And
you ended up going right from the basketball court as a player. You kind of transitioned into coaching right away?
Yeah. So I went and got my master's in sport and performance psychology at the University of Denver, and fell into a coaching job out there where the team, again, was 0-100 for the last 6 years, and then took it over for 2 years. So.
You take pride in that, though, knowing when you can take a program and kind of build it and you have, that things that you've had your hands on has turned a program around?
Yes, I take strong pride in that, and not so much for what I do personally, but because I can see the growth from the individual players and the leaders on the floor, and all of a sudden you have a player go from, not shooting a basket, not making any points, not playing defense, and then all of a sudden she's just this player that is something. So that's my favorite part of my job, and that's why I do what I do.
Sabres haven't been at home yet this season, but if they come out and watch you, I believe we're home a week from Tuesday against Maranatha Baptist. What are they going to see from your squad?
They're going to see intensity, I think. They're going to see a team go out there that's going to be having some growing pains, of course. But I think they're going to see a high-intensity ball game on the defensive end as well as pushing the ball down the floor. So it'll be exciting. Now,
we mentioned first 2 games of the year on the road. You lost a heartbreaker on, I think it was last Thursday at the Horn. But you said you saw great growth in your squad. Very young, as you mentioned, from Game 1 against Mount Mary to Game 2 against Lawrence.
Yeah, it was night and day. I think it was a completely different team. We needed some experience, right? When you have youth, you have an experience, and we had our leaders step up and take charge. But on Thursday, they said we're not going to look like that again, and they made that decision, and it was awesome to see.
Talk about your squad from top to bottom. Can you talk about some of the women that are on your team? You brought a nice group of people coming back, but then also you have some younger players that are also going to contribute this year.
Yeah, so younger, we didn't know what we were getting into. I took the job in May, so it was kind of like you get what you get, and I didn't know anything about it. And then they come and they show up, and we got some good guards, some great post presence too. So the youth is good, and it's got a lot of potential to be great. I'm very blessed with what I had coming back. I have 4 returners that have just been awesome and wonderful and very open to change. My leaders on the floor, my 2 seniors, I couldn't ask for 2 better people to be standing beside me to go through this, change, I guess.
We're going to talk to Nicole Paulus here in a little bit, but, you talk about sometimes there's a coaching change, a regime change, the seniors like, I don't want to go through it. And then it seems like they've taken it and really grabbed the bull by the horns and really embraced the change that they've seen here at Marian.
Oh, yeah. And, Nicole has been great. I'm excited to see what she has to say for you here, but she's been great. She's been helping us not only with, the basketball side of things, but I think like the logistics behind the scenes stuff. I think she will have a great year this year. Not so point-wise or anything like that, but I think she's just going to go and see herself as someone that she's never seen herself be before, and that's going to be pretty cool to watch.
When you're out on the recruiting trail and you're meeting with potential student-athletes coming to Marian, what do you tell them about the university? What's your pitch to them here?
My pitch is pretty simple, and it's not too difficult to understand that we're a small school. We feel like home. My biggest thing is you're going to come in as a person. You're going to leave as a strong, independent woman that's ready to change the world. So that's what happens when you come to this program.
How about the NAC? I mean, what's your take on the NAC for a women's basketball conference?
I think it's got some strengths. I think there's definitely Wisconsin, Lutheran, Concordia. You hear their names all the time, but we're ready to make some changes on the numbers. We're ready to have Marian in the top 5, and we're ready to kind of to wing it here with some different changes.
Is it one of those goals this season to make the postseason tournament?
Oh, yeah, always. There's, in my opinion, no such thing as a rebuilding year. We have who we have, and we're ready to make a run for it tomorrow.
And you were at Carroll, and you said you didn't get very much crossover when you were a player there to the NAC. I mean, so obviously you're learning as you go when it comes to teams that you're playing and just scouting reports in general of who you're playing?
Right, yeah. So we're watching some film, and I think more so just to prepare the girls as much as possible with the technical, tactical stuff. For me right now, though, we're worried about us, and that's all we're worried about. We don't need to be concerned with anybody else or what they're running. We just need to figure out who we're going to be and consistently show up every day.
We were talking earlier. You came just off the practice floor here, coming over here to Fat Joe's for the Marian Coaches Show. Just what types of practice do you run, and are the women dragging themselves off the floor after you've run them to death?
No, I'm not that person. We have very purposeful practices. We do focus on the process a lot. It's not ironic that 2 hours is a game and 2 hours is practice. We try to keep it intense from minute 1 to minute, whatever minute that is. But we try to make it intense. So, 30-second minute breaks, just like you would in a game, and we go from there. And they've been meeting me where I'm at every single day, which is pretty cool.
How would you describe yourself as a coach, not like a game day coach? Are you a wild kind of jump around type of person, or you're mild mannered? How do you describe yourself on the bench?
That's an interesting question. I've been asked that a few times. I think that I'm very passionate about it. I think that we focus on what we can control, and that's kind of how I coach. I'm going to fight for my girls when I need to fight for them, but at the end of the day, we're going to prepare you as much as possible to go into battle, and at that point, it's on them to get the job done.
Can you talk about your staff and how they have helped you out and who they are and who are helping you out with this year?
Yeah, so I got Coach Christine Keller by my side here. Assistant is a terminology thing. I don't really ever call her that. Every role that we have is together. Every decision that made is together. She's been wonderful. The rewards aren't really there all the time for that kind of position, and she just gives and gives and gives and gives and never responds and needs anything in advance. So, I'm blessed. I'm very much where we need to be. She feels very blessed, and so we're humble and we're grateful. How
do you tackle recruiting? At the Division III level, trying to weed through thousands of basketball players out there, finding one, they think, hey, this is a player that will be a good fit for a Marian University Sabre program.
We go out, we're not going to look past anybody, okay? So from small town to large town, we're going to look for the players that are going to want to never take the game for granted and want to just come and play at a D3 school for the passion and the love of the game and just want to grow as a person. And if we see that someone doesn't want to grow as a person, we know that they're not a fit for them, Marian's not a fit for them, but we'll be there for them along the way if they need it.
So as a coach, what kind of legwork, where do you have to pound the pavement to go find players? How does that all work? Do you find kids even self-recruit themselves to Marian, or are you out there what kind of hours you have to put in trying to find athletes to fit your program?
It never ends. That's a 12-month job. We're always looking for people. Again, like I said, there's no stone unturned. We're at every school. We're trying to contact every high school coach in the state, at least for now, with letters and things like that. So we're getting creative here. We're trying to make sure that these recruits know that they're not just coming to play basketball for us, but we're going to take care of them and that their parents understand that they're going to make the right decision coming to Marian.
Coach, you open up conference play on Saturday at Concordia University, Wisconsin. Then you have a Maranatha coming on Tuesday. Just in general, NAC nationally, what's the reputation of the NAC for women's basketball?
We have some good talent. I think that, we're a conference that's maybe overlooked once in a while. From top to bottom, there's some good stuff going on there, and I think that we're going to be a part of that and fit right in. So I'm excited about taking on number 2 right away to kind of see that baseline for us and see what really is that separation between 2 and 10. And it'll be exciting to see. Well,
Coach, and we're excited to catch you in your first game at home a week from Tuesday against Maranatha, 7 o'clock. That game will be on the Marian Sports Network. Coach Lyndsey Seewald, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You are watching the Marian University Coaches Show from Fat Joe's in Fond du Lac on the Marian Sports Network.
Hey, look, it's those guys.
What's up? What's happening today? Let's do those pearly whites, man. Yeah. Boys, check it.
Ooh, cute.
Are you good to try?
I'm fine.
Hey girl, what's up? What's the name? What's good? What's up?
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be.
Sir, go and step out of the vehicle for me.
Yes, sir. See ya, buddy. Today, Sean's got a hearing. We'll see how it goes. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
And welcome back to Fat Joe's in Fond du Lac, the Marian University Coaches Show on the Marian Sports Network. And right now we're going to bring in Marian University women's basketball player. She's a senior, Nicole Paulus. Thanks for joining us here tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, women's basketball, new regime this year with Coach Seewald. Just you as a senior, tell us how that transition has been.
Well, at first it was really nerve-wracking. Obviously, going into my senior year, I don't know what to expect. 3 years having a different mentality, and then Coach Seewald comes in. And it's just been night and day. It's wonderful, obviously, but I enjoy it. I think the girls really enjoy it. Like I was saying, it's nerve-wracking, but those nerves have now turned into excitement. And it shows now when we actually have games going on. You know, basketball's a long season, month full, so it was a trek, but it's good.
You mentioned nervousness, obviously, with change, especially someone who's been in a program for 3 years. You kind of know how things are run, and the university made a change. And then, sometimes seniors be like, I don't want to go through this. I'm just going to hang her up. What sold you on Coach Seewald to say, hey, I'm going to finish up strong, and we're going to really take this program to another level?
Yeah, when I first met Coach Seewald, she was just, her tenacity of getting after it, winning mentality, and just, giving it your all at practice. Her energy level was just wonderful, and I think that's what really sold me and it got me back into loving the sport, that's for sure.
Now, 4 years ago, when you came onto the Marian University campus, what sold you on becoming a Sabre? Why did you pick Marian?
Well, I picked Marian because it's close to home for me. I'm from Random Lake, Wisconsin, which is about an hour away, and so Mom and Dad can watch me play, Grandma and Grandpa can watch me play. Also, the community feel here at Marian is just wonderful. I mean, I know everybody, everyone knows me, and it's really nice in that sense, too.
What are you studying?
I'm an exercise sports science major with a minor in biology.
Wow, so what would you hope to do with that degree once you graduate here? Are you on track to graduate here?
Yep, I'm graduating in May, and I'm hoping to go to physical therapy school to become a physical therapist. So.
Okay, and has it been everything you thought? I mean, going to Marian the 4 years you've spent on campus?
Yeah, and more, to be honest. I know it's cliche to say it, but, Marian provides a lot of opportunities for students. I'm involved in clubs, organizations, 2 sports on top of that, and I work on campus. So there's a ton to do, and it's so accessible to do it.
You mentioned 2 sports on campus. You're also a golfer, so you just wrapped up your fall sports season, and you just transition right into a winter sports season, just almost like high school probably, right?
Yeah, it was literally a week off, and it's like, boom, boom, there you go. Practice is starting up again. It's like awesome.
And that's one of those things maybe you don't get at Division II or Division I levels of college athletics where you're going to get when you come to Marian here. And is that something you always knew you were going to do when you came here, is be a multi-sport athlete?
Actually not. I only came because thinking I was going to play basketball, and all of a sudden I just picked up a golf club, and they're like, hey, come play for us. I was like, sure, why not? I mean, if I could do 3 sports, I would totally do it too.
Now, what have you seen from the Marian University women's basketball team? You got beat last week in your opener, Mount Mary, and then you came back and lost a heartbreaker against Lawrence at the Horn. Just how much growth have you seen just in this first week of games getting going?
It's tremendous growth. I mean, Coach probably talked about how we were very young. I mean, our young teammates are stepping up and being leaders on the floor. So tremendous growth from the first game to the second game. And the third game, we're just itching for another game to, get that W for sure.
Sure, and is it one of those cases, too, where how is your role different this year than maybe it was last year?
I think this year more it's being a leader on the floor and also in practice, too. Last year was more lax of Nicole, you just do your thing. And this year it's more of, okay, you're a senior. We have a lot of young people, so let's show them what we can do.
Sure. Is it one of those things, too, do you remember back, because it's probably now playing in the NAC and in the NCAA Division III, what was the transition like for you going from high school to the college level? How much different of a game is it?
Oh, it's tremendous. I mean, the pace of it, the court size is insane. You're shooting three-pointers, foot two back than the regular high school arc. So it's a transition, and I'm really proud of what our underclassmen have really done in the past couple weeks especially, and even in the games, too. They're playing like veterans almost.
Did you play a lot of AAU basketball in high school?
I did. I played 4 years of AAU ball.
And so did you have a lot of maybe opportunities to play college basketball, and Marian was the team that you decided, because you mentioned earlier location, different things, of you chose the Sabres?
Yep, other places were looking at me, but I knew instantly when I came on campus, Marian was my home.
Excellent. Now, what do you look for this season? You got the conference season starting out this year, and obviously you're kind of picked to be a sleeper team if you want to move up the standings. What would you be looking for from your team as the season goes along?
I think we're going to be the upset team, that's for sure. We're going to get the games we're going to win, and then we're just going to get someone one night out of the week, out of the blue, and it's going to be sweet because no one's expecting it.
If the style of ball that Coach Seewald plays as well, is that the case where if you get people hot shooting and you play fundamentally good basketball, I think you can knock off anybody in the league?
Oh, anybody, and anyone can have a night where they go off for 20, and it could be any girl, which is awesome.
Is that cool to know you have that on your squad? We're just looking at, and I've watched some of the film of the first couple of games that you've had where you do have a lot of different scorers on your team, and you know it's not going to have to be you every night. It's going to have to put 20 in where somebody else may be able to help you out.
Yeah, it's awesome, especially for my game, too. I mean, I can do other things. I can be the playmaker of passing the ball and this and that, and I know my teammate's going to hit it for sure.
Nicole, I appreciate you giving us some time here tonight at Fat Joe's on the Marian Coaches Show. Good luck the rest of the season.
Thank
We'll
you so
see
much.
our first time looking at you guys live a week from Tuesday against Maranatha, a 7 o'clock start on the Marian Sports Network. So good luck the rest of the year.
Thank you so much.
You are watching the Marian University Coaches Show from Fat Joe's on the Marian Sports Network.
When I was 6, I had one thing on my mind. When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball every chance I could. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke.
I'm Paul George, and I want you to learn the signs of a stroke fast. F-A-S-T.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. Because the sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in their recovery.
Protect the ones you love.
Spot a stroke. F-A-S-T. Fast.
And the Marian University Coaches Show continues here on the Marian Sports Network. We're at Fat Joe's in downtown Fond du Lac, and right now we're going to bring in Sarah Angelos, the coordinator for external relations at Marian University. Sarah, thanks for joining us here tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Tell us exactly what your role is within the Marian Athletic Department.
Well, it's pretty much everything. My role as a coordinator of external relations basically means fundraising, sponsorships, alumni events. But I've also been able to tack on a few things that I am really passionate about. So the student-athlete experience, student-athlete development. So I run the SAC program, which is Student-Athlete Advisory Committee. So sorry, it took me a second. But basically it's a group of about 40 student-athletes. And we have a really good group that's this year that's extremely committed and they love to be involved in things in the community and community service.
That's one of those things, too. If there's events going on around Fond du Lac in the region in general, a lot of times you'll see Marian athletes taking part, helping out the cause, donating their time and sometimes their muscle and their sweat, moving things around, and just helping raise awareness for a cause.
Yeah, we've tried to get out in the community a little bit more and try and broaden our horizons in Fond du Lac. Since Marian's a small school, it's a small part of this community, but we're trying to grow our impact on the community.
So how did you end up at Marian University?
Actually, my position is an NCAA grant internship, so I wanted to work in college athletics. I was a college athlete at Northern Illinois University, and I wanted to get back into it after playing volleyball professionally for a year. So this came about, and it was kind of a perfect fit for me. I was able to do a lot of things that I wouldn't necessarily be able to do without it, because at the D3 level, you're able to do so many different things in college athletics and administration, whereas if I was at a bigger school, I would only be able to do one of the aspects of the job.
You mentioned you played professional volleyball. What type of professional volleyball did you play?
So I played in Denmark for a year, and it was an amazing experience. I got everything out of it I wanted to do. I played for a year, which
Indoor
is much
volleyball?
longer. Yeah. Indoor
Making
volleyball.
sure because there's many different kinds of volleyball now.
I've dabbled in sand, but indoor is my thing. So.
And so you did that, and then you came back and decided to kind of dive into the real world, but then you got to stay in athletics, so it had to be great.
Yeah, and it's really nice, too. At Marian, I'm able to coach the men's and the women's teams as well, so I assist on the men's and women's side of volleyball as well.
A couple of things going on today with Marian University. Talk about cans across the conference that you're tied in with the NAC.
So cans across the conference, I believe, has been happening for 11 years now. Marian, we usually end up halfway through the pack, so we try. Each school has to raise as many cans as we can, and we compete for it. So the school that raises the most cans gets a little bit of money, I think, thrown to them. But so this year we've partnered with Festival Foods. So we put out a bunch of 300 bags out in the community, and then on last Wednesday, and then today picked them up. And we right now are at over 1,800 cans. So it's a really good start for it, and then Festival will match up to 1,000.
So can people still help out with the cause even if it doesn't go with the match? I mean, can they still donate if maybe they didn't get a bag or they forgot to do it?
So the cutoff is December 5th. That's when we'll have to turn in however many cans that we raise to the NAC, and then so they can bring them to games and get in for free for admissions. And then if they have to bring them at any other time, they can bring them to the gym, and I will take them to the Salvation Army and donate them.
It's a great cause. Again, another way that Marian University athletes helping the community and kind of diving into just being a part of the Fond du Lac community. Also, you're adopting a family as well?
Yep, same thing through the Salvation Army. Each of our teams kind of paired up with one another so that the financial burden wasn't so much. So it's about $5 on a student athlete that they wanted to donate and help out a family that wouldn't necessarily be able to buy gifts for their kids or have that kind of Christmas atmosphere for themselves.
Excellent. Tell me about the Leadership Academy, too. That's something that's coming up with Marian University?
Yeah, so it's something that we started this year kind of through SAC, because they kind of lead their teams getting involved, and then the coaches also have really jumped on board. And so basically we're bringing in speakers or do some type of leadership event to help as they grow through their 4 years at Marian. So as a freshman, they'll start kind of learning themselves. We have somebody from the NCAA coming to do a DISC assessment with them, which basically you learn your personality and then how you communicate and how you interact with people who don't necessarily have the same personality with you, and how to best effectively communicate with people like your teammates who might be different from you or all of that. And then through their sophomore year, they're going to do some nutritional, money management kind of things they're out on their own, getting away from on-campus living. And then through that, and then the juniors and seniors are more of life after athletics and resume building and things like that.
You've got a kind of cool event coming up in early December as well with a pop-up restaurant at the Blue Line. Explain what's happening with that.
Yeah, so December 2nd at the men's hockey game, we're going to be partnering with the Marian Business Club and then Pop-Up Fond du Lac, which is a really cool kind of food, centers around food usually, and this time it's chili. So they're going to be coming, and you can purchase, I think, a cup of chili and put unique toppings on them and however you really want to eat it. So it's a really good way for us to partner again with somebody outside of Marian and try and bring the Fond du Lac community in a little bit.
I'm a thick, meaty kind of chili guy with no noodles, so hopefully we'll have some of that. So are you a no noodles kind of chili person too?
Yeah, throw some cheese, sour cream, crackers, love it.
Now, if somebody is watching this and maybe they think that they have an event that would be a great way to partner with Marian University Athletic Department, how do they get in contact with your office?
Well, you can go on our website at sabreathletics.com and look up my bio. And then all of my information is right there, and I would probably be the best person to contact about getting
involved. And again,
involved.
tell us about the cans for the conference. If they want to donate cans, how many do they have to bring in for free admission?
You could just bring in one, and you can get free admission. The more the merrier, obviously. But at any game, they can bring in any cans and get in for free.
Hey, Sarah, thank you so much for giving us some time here at Fat Joe's, and it's always great seeing Marian University student athletes in the community helping out and making it a better place.
Thank you.
You are watching the Marian University Coaches Show from Fat Joe's in downtown Fond du Lac on the Marian Sports Network.
Listen up, Energy Hogs. We got a real porker of a house here. Get in there and waste some energy.
There's no insulation, boss. It's hog heaven.
Leaky windows, too. This is gonna be a breeze. Perfect. Go wild and waste some wattage.
a tan.
Oh, there's hot water for just one pair of pants. My kind of place.
Wow, this thing's so old it's gonna take me hours to get dry.
Keep wasting. They'll never know what hit them till they get the energy bill.
What the?
Boss, they're home, and they've got energy-efficient bulbs.
You've got the power to get rid of energy hogs. You can help your parents add insulation, put in Energy Star appliances, and lots of other things to make your home hog-free. Find out how at energyhog.org and play fun games, too.
Oh, retreat! Retreat!
Go to energyhog.org and get the energy hogs out of your home.
Hey, wait for me!
And welcome back to Fat Joe's in Fond du Lac. I am Wade Bates. As we wrap up the Marian University Coaches Show on the Marian Sports Network, we have to thank all the coaches that made the trip down to Fat Joe's to talk about their program tonight. Brett Denap, the head men's golf coach, and the head men's ACHA hockey coach for joining us, breaking down both of those two sports. Also, Lyndsey Seewald, the women's basketball coach, and Nicole Paulus, a Sabre senior basketball player, for talking about their program as they open up conference play on Saturday at Concordia University, Wisconsin. Sarah Angelos also was great talking to her about the great things all the Marian student athletes are doing across the campus, across the city, and across the region. Again, if you want to find out where your favorite Marian University team plays, go to sabreathletics.com. We need to thank Sam Boyle and Brandon Bodart from the Athletic Communications Department for making this possible. Again, you have been watching the Marian University Coaches Show on the Marian Sports Network.